kind of awake on and off because I would come in, lay on the bed for a little bit, and then get up and go back. And so he was aware that I was having contractions. So finally, at 4 hours, I decided, okay, you better get up. Let's go downstairs and get the birth tub filled up and just get ready and prepared. So we had I had the birth tub blown up, but we had not filled it yet, and we were just waiting. So we went downstairs of our house, which is where we had everything set up. We started getting things ready and laid out, and my husband ran upstairs to get something to eat. I don't know what he was making. He went up to get something to eat, and while he was up there getting himself something to eat, my contractions just stopped. I had no more contractions. I was just like totally relaxed and ready to go back to bed, and so we put everything away and went back upstairs and went back to bed. The next day we got up and we needed to go run some errands in town. So we went into town that morning, or actually we went out to my husband's work and picked up his paycheck. And then we went into town and deposited that and stopped at the grocery store. And while we were at the grocery store, about when we pulled into the grocery store, I had another contraction in the parking lot walking into the store. One that was strong enough to make me have to stop. And then I also had another one while we were in the grocery store, where I was one of those ladies in labor in the middle of the grocery store. I had to lean over the cart and breathe through my contraction because it was strong enough that it was making me not be able to walk around. So of course, my husband was right there, so he knew what was going on. We had all the kids with us, and after that, we went home, and I was having contractions about every 20 minutes at that point. By the time we got home, I was having more contractions. We had lunch, and I started grading some homeschool papers. Grading papers, it got to be about 4 o'clock, and we decided my contractions were coming regularly, and they had been, and they were getting stronger. So we decided that it was a good time for my husband to take the kids over to the neighbor's house who was going to watch them for us. shock that I actually just had a baby because I had been running back and forth with her. But, so anyway, I labored for a few more hours. My contractions were getting really strong and close together, and I was going back and forth into the bathroom, from living room to the bathroom, living room to the bathroom, a lot, feeling like I needed to use the bathroom. And of course, my husband was following me back and forth because he knew how close I was to having the baby. With this baby, like I mentioned with the last birth story that I shared of my 8th baby, my contractions were very painful in my bottom. It felt like her little hand was wrapped around my rectum and was just squeezing as tight as she could every time I'd have a contraction. It was very uncomfortable and very painful, and similar to the last birth that I had. So by the time, right before she was born, I had said I need to use the bathroom again, and my husband said you need to hurry before you have another contraction. So I walked from the living room to the bathroom and I sat down on the toilet, and thankfully he followed me in there because I all of a sudden was like, there's a baby coming out, and I just had to push. I really, and I remember that moment, and it didn't even occur to me, oh, there's a baby being born. You know, I was just like totally in the zone of laboring and following my body's instincts, that as soon as I had that instinct to push, I just started pushing without even realizing where I was and what was going on. So he thankfully was there, and he squatted down right in front of me, and he said, you need to lay back. I'm not going to be able to catch the baby. And I was just like, I can't lay back. You know, I was bearing down to push because that's what I felt like I needed to do. And thankfully, he just put his hand on my shoulder and pushed me backwards and reached in with his other hand and caught her before she fell into the toilet. So now she always tells people I was born in the toilet, because she really was born in the toilet. So actually, in her water, my water did not break until right before she came out, and which was kind of nice to be on the toilet. It didn't make a mess anywhere. My water broke right into the toilet, and out she came in one push, and my husband just pulled her right up out of there and put her on me. She was a teeny tiny little thing. She weighed 5 pounds and 2 ounces. And she was my last 5-pound baby. All of them before her were very close to 5 pounds something. My first one was 6 pounds and 1 ounce, but the rest of them were 5 pounds. And then after that, they were all bigger. So she was a teeny tiny little thing, and she had no troubles breathing, nothing. She was totally fine. We pulled her out, and I laid her on me, and then I moved from the toilet down to the floor where I could be more comfortable, and Austin could sit next to me. But after I sat down on the floor, I still was feeling a lot of pain, the same way that I felt with Clayton, because of the placenta and where it was laying. So I was just really uncomfortable sitting on the floor. Of course, it was a hard bathroom floor. I had a pillow behind me, but it was just really uncomfortable. So we sat there for a little while until her cord stopped pulsing, and then we were able to cut it. And we cut the cord, and he took her and wrapped her up, and laid her down out on the couch, and then he came in and helped me get up and get me out to the couch. So once I was out on the couch, I wasn't on the couch, I was on the floor leaning against the couch, just on the carpet, and felt like I needed to push again, get the placenta out. So he brought me a bowl. I just held on to the couch, and I squatted down and pushed, and the placenta came right out into the bowl. So there was no troubles with that at all. And afterwards, it was like instant relief for me to have that placenta out. It was the same way with this last baby. So I'm not sure, just from thinking about it now, looking at the patterns of my contractions when I had her and when I had Cadence, compared to the pattern of contractions when I had Clayton, it makes first also. And she also is the one that's got the same 3 marks on the side of her face like he does on both sides, and they were both born that way, and they look like they're either little scars or birthmarks or something. I'm not really sure what they are. So it's just interesting because she was born in the toilet. We didn't get to see if her head, what part of her came out first. She was so tiny that she just came out in one push, so it wasn't like it was a huge deal for her. So pushed the placenta out, and then I had before with the baby born before her, which was, they are only 14 months apart, so they're very close to each other. I didn't have a lot of bleeding, the midwife said, but my body was really acting like I had a lot of bleeding. So this time I was careful with that. I took extra like iron and chlorophyll and read up on what to do for that. And after I had pushed the placenta out and I was sitting on the couch and I was holding her, trying to nurse her, Austin had started cleaning things up. And I could feel myself getting very, very fainty, like I was going to faint. And I just was holding her, and I started saying, you need to take her, you need to take her, you need to take her, as I was falling over on the couch, just falling over. So he ran over and took her from me, and then helped me to get down onto the floor. And I laid on the floor with my feet up, the way that you would put someone who's in shock. And I just laid there for, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 minutes. He brought her back to me, the baby. Austin brought her back to me, and I was able to lay on the floor and nurse her while I was recovering from that. So after that initial time, then I felt better after I laid there for a little while. So he got me back up on the couch. He went up, made me a sandwich, and I ate that. And then we decided we'd just go back to sleep. The kids were over at the neighbor's house, so they weren't home. And I didn't feel like going back up the stairs, so we just laid on the couch and slept. He worked, my husband, he worked so hard because we had filled up the birth tub, and then he could not get the hose to siphon the water out to empty it. He had to use a pot, a big like cooking pot, to empty the whole tub out, and he was exhausted from helping me and not sleeping very well the night before, and then all that work that he did to fill and unfill the birth tub. He was just totally exhausted. So we both laid down on the couch, and I had the baby next to me, and he slept on the other end of the couch. And then we laid there for a few hours, and I just could not get comfortable on there. I couldn't lay one way because the baby gets squished in the couch, and I was tired of laying the other direction, and so I woke him up, and he helped me to get up the stairs to our bed, and we were both able to go to sleep on the bed for the rest of the night. She wasn't born in the middle of the night, so we actually both slept pretty well until the next morning. He called about 10 o'clock to our neighbor and said, go ahead and bring the kids over. So she said she would bring them over in about an hour. And we got everything cleaned up, and I got something to eat, and I sat up in bed, and she brought the kids over, and they were able to see her for the first time, so that was fun. And then she was born on a Friday night, so that was Saturday when the kids came home. Sunday morning, we had decided that we would just come down to Colorado because we were living in Wyoming. So the kids in Austin